do it God's way. Let's do it God's way. I'll give you a little bit on YouTube. Let's do it God's way. So, I want you to know tonight that when I want to ask a question, which dominion do you live in? Which domain do you live in? There is two domains, and there is the kingdom, and then there is the 304dom. Which one do you live in? Hey, Aaron, which domain do you live in? Which domain do you live in? There is the kingdom, and then there is the 304dom, which we're gonna call that the queendom. Either you live in a kingdom or a queendom, which is a 304dom. Which one? One is masculine kingdom, one is feminine, which would be queendom or 304dom. Which dominion do you live in? Tonight we're going to be talking about the different dominions and where do you live and how we can fix it, how we can get out of the dominion that we don't belong. Let's do it that way. What was I going to say? Thank you for that, Brother Pass, for coming in tonight. Let me make sure I can got you up here. There you go. There you go. Get him up. Hey, Yariel, how you doing tonight? How you doing tonight? How you doing tonight? This is a great day, y'all. This is a great day. So, as we're getting ready to understand the kingdoms or the dominions, not kingdoms, because there's only one kingdom. On earth, because there's a kingdom in heaven and there's a kingdom on earth. Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Let's do it the way the Most High has it set up for us to do it, so that we can always be able to accomplish what the Most High had in store for us to accomplish. I want to tell y'all something. I know that there's a lot of conversations going on now. There is a lot of conversations going on now. I'm great, Yariel. There is a lot of conversations going on now about Yasharel. We're getting into the transition coming from what we've been talking about this whole year, and we've been talking this whole year since March, I believe, on wisdom, understanding, knowledge, holiness, and perfection. That's what we've been talking about this entire year. And so, since that's what we've been talking about, we're getting ready to. We're in a transition stage, and in this transition stage, we're calling out some really serious stuff now, okay? Because as we transition, we need to know what we're transitioning from and where we're going to, okay? Where we're coming from and going to, okay? He not only came to save us, we also came to show us, okay? So where we're coming from, which is the nature of sin, which is queendom or 304dom. And we're going into the kingdom, which is masculinity. Let's do it God's way. Brother Paz, what do you got to say to us tonight, my friend?
I got to say shalom. How everybody doing? I just woke up not too long ago. We the people got me on this new schedule.
To God be the glory. To God, he got you on a new schedule. What kind of schedule is that?
Man, driving around for his Uber.
To God be the glory. Brother, we the people. What do you got to say tonight, man?
Hey, shalom. Hey, man, I'm excited to see what's going to go on tonight. The conversation has been really good around the subject. We've been getting a lot of good feedback, and even questions, comments, and concerns, and how deep this kingdom thing really go. So I just put up in the chat something real quick, just the word kingdom, and it says king, law, domain, headquarters, hierarchy, royal family, military, subjects, and taxes. So we're just talking about the components that it takes to actually make up a kingdom, for a kingdom to even exist. And even talking about the queendom too, the 304dom, as the word describes it. That's going to be a good discussion for tonight.
To God be the glory. So, Brother Yariel, what's up with you, man? How you doing, man?
Hey, shalom, everyone. Shalom, family.
Shalom.
Doing good, blessed. Yeah, I know I hadn't been inside here in a little minute, y'all. I'd have missed y'all. Been been in this word really deep. You know how like Yahusha, he had to go inside of there in reclusive mode a little bit. But we back now, getting into the word heavy. Ready to get into this conversation for y'all, for sure.
To God be the glory. So as I started out tonight, and I said that the Bible speaks of two dominions. Okay, two dominions. And we know what they are. One is a kingdom, which is a dominion that is masculine, king, masculine. And then there is one that is called 304dom, which is feminine, which is a dominion. Okay? And both of them have leaders. One, the kingdom gives his leadership over to the 304dom. This is why our women believe that their bodies and their JJs are so valuable, even after it has been used multiple times, because the king has given the authority over to the queen. And so we live in a society where the 304dom is promoted by the infidel, because anytime a king is here and gives over their authority to the woman, what they're doing now is they're putting themselves in a place of infidelity, because the only reason you relinquish authority for anything that you do is because you don't want to be responsible. That's the only reason we do what you do. The only reason you have baby mothers and baby fathers is because the man refuses to be responsible for what he is. So what we've done is we've turned over what belonged to us over to a queendom. Y'all hear me now? You hear me? And I'm not speaking to hurt you, but I'm speaking to make you aware of what we've done. Because one of the biggest things, one of the biggest problems that we have is we don't know that my friend, your children is your house. Not the house that with the brick and mortar that you live in. Your children is the house. Let me prove it to you. I didn't want to go there tonight, but I'm going to read it anyway as we're getting started here. Ruth chapter 4, verse 11. Someone brought this out a couple weeks ago. I can't remember. Well, I think it was Brother We the People brought this out a couple weeks ago, where Ruth, whom when she was meeting up with the just before she was given over to what's his name, Boaz, just before she was given over to Boaz, she was given a speech. Hey, Red, and that speech was this, and these are the men talking to Ruth. Ruth verses 4 and chapter 4 verse 11, and it reads, and all the people that were in the gate, and the elders said, the elders, these would be the men, okay, said, we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is coming to the house, the Lord, the Most High, make the woman that is coming to thine house like Rachel and Leah, and do thou worthy. Where am I at? Is that 4 and 11? Yeah. Coming to thine house like Rachel and Leah, which did build the house of Israel. So the woman's job, the woman's purpose, when it's done in the kingdom way, the woman builds the house of the man. Okay? You got to hear me with your spirit in order to understand it. This is not a throwing shade. This is actually this is perfected. This is the perfect way of doing it, okay? This is the righteous way. And it says that, and they did build the house of Israel. So the men, you're walking away from your house when you walk away from your children. You're walking away from your legacy. Therefore, you don't have any inheritance to leave your children, because you walked away from your house. So, and when we do that, not only are we doing that, but we are also now causing our children to live a life of pain and suffering. Matter of fact, what we're causing is we're birthing monsters. Because when a man walks away from his children because he refused to take accountability and responsibility for them, and I've heard men say, I can't take this, It's only because society has given us the thought process that it is easier for me to defile her and walk away from her, leaving her with child. Let's just erase the child for a minute. Let's erase the child for a minute. And let's just talk about something real. Because the child is a product of having intimacy within a 7-day window. But the other 14 days, you are still defiling the woman because you are still putting yourself in her. So all of the times that you went into her and you left her, that puts you in the category of an infidel. Because an infidel refuses to take responsibility for what he should be accountable for. Y'all follow me, right? Are y'all with me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, we follow.
Okay, and so
You back on the infidel again.
I'm not gonna get off. I'm not gonna get off of infidel. I'm not gonna get off of it.
With that one.
Yeah, because the infidel is the one that should have been the king, but he turned it over to the queen, and now we live in a what we would call a queendom, a 304dom. Because the man who should have been the king refused to do it according to 1 Kings chapter 2 verse 3. And I think I got that from Yariel, that particular verse. And what it says is that show thyself a man. Show thyself a man. And then they give a description of what a man is. Okay? And so when you are a man, you don't refuse or you don't neglect a responsibility and accountability. But when you live in a Western culture, what happens is you are now able to reject the right culture or any culture, because now you are more interested in the pleasure piece than you are your own house. And so therefore, instead of us building houses, what we're doing is we're building a Lodabar. You know what Lodabar is? Lodabar is where peasants live. These would have been the lowest class of people on the planet. They lived in Lodabar, okay? A new term for that would have been a term that was given to us by the Germans, which would have been the ghetto. Okay, in the Bible, it would have been called Nazareth, okay? What good can come out of Nazareth, okay? Nazareth would be equivalent to what we would call the ghetto today. And most of our children are born in the ghetto. If they're not born there, because when the man leaves, they find themselves right back in Lodabar. You better hear me, you better hear me. You better hear me with your spirit to understand this. And so as men, what we're doing is we're walking away from understanding that we are destroying the community because we refuse to be accountable for what was given to us. For the woman was created for who? The man. So as much as we talk about the problem with the woman, the problem with the woman, the problem with the woman, she was given to the man. So if there was a problem with the woman, it's the fault of the man. And I'm going to blame us for it. It is our fault. It is not her fault. It is our fault. Because we are the ones. There was no woman that defiled herself with a man by herself. Unless she was a pedophile. She took advantage of a 10 or 12-year-old boy. And then there's a way we have to deal with that too.
Say PDF.
PDF. Put some fruit in the child. So that was 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 1 Kings chapter 2, verses 1, 2, and 3. Read all three of them because it sets the stage for what the story is talking about. And it's actually David talking to Solomon. Okay, and so when you begin to understand this, and we begin to understand, because all I'm trying to do, y'all, is I'm trying to make us aware of the mess that we've made. And we've made this mess because we were told that the law was done away with. And if the law is done away with, where is the responsibility of the man? Does he have any responsibility if there is no guidance for him? It's like this right here. If you work a job and they don't have a set of rules and standards for you, on that job, you don't have a job. Because every job that you have a set of standards for that job, for that position. As a matter of fact, every grocery store that you go to has a set of rules that you must follow. Every gas station, every restaurant, everything. As a matter of fact, if you go in Burger King, a lot of times Burger King has this little thing that you walk around in. It has a line train so that you can walk in line so you'll know how to move the way they want you to move.
People don't even like working in environments like that. They'll feel like they're in somewhere corrupt and crooked. You walk in there, there's no order, there's no structure. You don't even want to be there.
But isn't that how we are now? Don't that seem, if you think about it now, because the way we've been thinking about it is just pure pleasure. So as long as I can go out and be with as many women as I want, and as the woman, as she can go out and there are more men that desire her, we don't see that as chaos, do we? We see that as normalcy, because that's what we've become accustomed to. So when you hear someone like me that's trying to bring order, I'll get resistance because it affects what we become accustomed to. And that customization that we became accustomed to has defiled us. The man has defiled the woman because the man refuses to be accountable for the woman. Because who was the woman created for?
The man. Hallelujah.
Man, no doubt.
The man. Y'all saying that kind of soft. I need some bass in your voice when you say that. Who was the woman created for?
The man.
Man. He said Barry White's in the chat now.
hey, y'all.
We gotta sound like Brother Kenny up here.
To God be the glory. Yeah, where Brother Kenny at? But yeah.
The word.
But when we understand it right, as a man, we got a responsibility. So tonight we're going to be talking about the dominions. We're going to talk about the dominion of the queendom, which is the 304dom, and we're going to talk about the kingdom. Okay, these are the two kingdoms that the Bible speaks about. Okay, and how do we get a queendom? How do we get a 304dom? How is a 304dom? How?
When the man relinquishes his authority, gives it over to the woman, or the woman usurped it. One way.
Well, first of all, and see, if we didn't give it to her, how can she usurp it?
She used that thing, manipulating tool. She used that manipulating tool.
But even with that, you know what I'm saying? Even with her manipulation, see, this is what I want to say. And I thank you for this, Brother Yariel. Because as a man, if we begin to operate to show thyself a man, we would always keep the law. Here we go. This is how Joshua said we do it. Let's see what Joshua said, how he said to do it. And then, Brother Earl, I want to come to you because I want to hear some of the questions that you got and some of the stuff that you want to say tonight. Y'all remember we're trying to get to how many tonight, brother Pass? What's the goal tonight?
The goal is 100K for guests to come up, but we really want to be hitting that 300, 400K mark if we can.
Okay. So we're going to stick to 100K, but we're going to be raising that shortly, okay? Because I can see that we can get there. I see that we've done it before. We can do it again. Here we go. This is Joshua chapter 1 and 8. And it says it right here. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. Thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. That's Joshua 1 and 8. Now go over to 1 Kings. I'm going to show you the similarity, because here Joshua is talking to men, and in 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 3, he's talking to a man. Over in 1 Kings chapter 2. And it says it right here. Chapter 2, verse 2. I go all the way of the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. Joshua 1 and 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. Listen to what it says. Keep the charge. What is the charge? The law of God. That's the charge. Who was it given to? The man. So when the man operates as a king, the king is operating according to the law of God. He's operating under the constitution that was given to the nation. And it says it right here. Keep the charge of the Lord thy God. Walk in his ways. Keep his statutes and his commandments, his judgment, the testimonies as it is written in the law of Moses. So when someone says that the law is done away with, well, we still got the 10 Commandments, well, where's the 10 Commandments written at? Are they not in the law? According to the scriptures, they are in the law. And his judgments, his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself. Those are the words that Joshua said to the people, don't depart. David here is saying these same words to his son. But so tonight, Unc is saying this to all of us, to the men, to the women. If a man comes into your life, make sure he shows himself a man. And what is that? He does what? Keep the charge. That's what men do. That's what we do as men. We keep the charge. Let's do it God's way. Let's do it God's way.
Hey,
come on, brother.
Can I add on to that real quick?
Yes, sir.
A sister had asked me the other night when I was talking about like spotting a witch and stuff like that, how you can spot a witch using the Bible and stuff. And it asked about showing a man, how a man can be spotted as being a warlock or not. And I pulled out that same scripture right there to tell you, like, if that man cannot be shown with following this, then he's doing his own thing. He's doing his own source of rebellion and going into witchcraft. He's not following the law, statutes, and commandments. If he's not even attempting to, he's trying to find his own way, doing his own thing. He's operating out of some form of witchcraft. And so for every woman to be able to see that, to recognize, if he's not following the word of the Most High, he's following some form of rebellion against him.
He's in the queendom. He's in the queendom. Because remember, there's two dominions, a queendom and a kingdom. Psalms 1, chapter 1. I gotta read it. Because it's not just the 10. It's all of the law. Except for the atonements and the ceremonies, okay? We can't do those anymore, okay? But we can keep the moral standards of the law. Oh, that's easy. And here we go. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. An ungodly man would be a man that say the law is done away with because he has no standards. Any man that tells you that the law is done away with is an ungodly man. Thank you for that, Sister D. He's an infidel. Any man, when you speak of ungodly, that is a man that, any man that is saying the law is done away with is an infidel. Any man that says the law is done away with is an infidel. And any woman that says that the law is done away with is a harlot. Understand that. Now, it says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, the infidel, or the harlot, nor standeth in the way of the sinners, that is the unlawful, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Those are the judges, the ones that are saying that we can do this. But let me keep reading. But his delight is in what? The law of the Lord, and in his law doeth he meditate how often? Day and night. So where is the law at? In his heart. Where? Day and night. Meditate on this book of the law. Day and night. Y'all got to hear me with the spirit to understand this. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers that bringeth forth his fruit in its season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. So the promise for prosperity is this: doing it God's way. That's the promise for prosperity. So if we're lacking, it's because we're not doing it God's way. And if it seems like you're prospering, and you are working just to keep what you got. You're not doing it God's way. Because the way God says it, and this applies to me too. Because when you're doing it God's way, he says that you will be the head and not the tail, the above, not beneath, the lender, not the borrower. He says that you will be healed and not sick, the fruit of your body. He gave us all of these blessings that will overtake us, overthrow us, overcome us. But the standard is to do it God's way. And listen what it says. The ungodly are not so, but like a chaff of the wind. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the saints, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteousness, of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Y'all, let's do it God's way. I'm done. So the man that has his delight in the law of the Lord, he meditates on it day and night. Your conversation. Come on, Brother Yariel.
Hey, make sure those that got a tapper, y'all put y'all tappers on right now. You can get Unks live up to 100K really quick. But if you ain't got a tapper, use them fingers.
Hey, I just wanted to add on what you just said. In Psalms 119 at verse 165, it tells us something like the exact same thing you're talking about right now. But it tells us that we will have great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. You look at that. That great peace. So many of us don't have that peace, and we wondering why. Do you actually love his law? Or do you, when you hear it, do you get, oh, I gotta do that. Oh, I gotta feel like this. Oh, it makes me so upset when I gotta do this. Oh, it's the Sabbath coming. Oh, I can't do nothing now. You know, it's like, do you get upset about that? Or do you get happy about it? Or nothing will offend you. It says nothing shall offend you from it.
Nothing.
Man, this is deep.
This is deep because Paul addresses it over in Romans 14:17. He says that the kingdom is not in meat and drink, but in peace, righteousness, and joy within the Ruach. So if that's the case, everybody is saying the same thing according to the Bible. It is great peace. And the kingdom is masculine led. So the peace starts where? With who? The man.
Starts with the king, with the man.
The man. Hey Shay, it starts with the man. It starts with the man. If the man don't have peace, guess what happens? The whole community is in chaos. And what kind of man will not have any peace?
A man that doesn't keep the laws.
And what is he called?
You gonna make me say it?
Yes, sir.
A heathen or infidel.
Wait, go ahead on and say it.
Jellyback simp, warlock, infidel. We gonna get some more.
Mindless.
There we go.
Preacher.
Man.
He must be stopped. He must be stopped.
1-800. Unk must be stopped.
Nah, that's funny right there. I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. Brother, we the people, man. I want to know, what do you got to say, questions to ask? What are the people saying that we need to address when it comes to these dominions? When it comes to the dominion of 304, which tonight we will be addressing as queendom. Now, you've never heard, there's no such thing. There was a movie called Queendom where the men dress up as women, but you've never heard of it. But I'm calling it that because according to the Bible, this is the other dominion, or the other dominion that the Bible speaks of, which is called 304dom, okay, which is feminine led. Okay?
Don't leave out the woman king, too. You know that one.
Yeah, facts. I mean, I'm always starting something. And when I ain't starting something, you starting something. So, and then when I ain't starting it, you ain't starting it, Pat's starting it. Yariel, boy, he try to keep us together. He try to keep us on the tracks. You know, but praise y'all. I'm going to just add a little bit to what Yariel just said. I'm going to get into it. So this is 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. It says that his commandments are not grievous. His commandments are not grievous. But the problem is that we've been raised in a democracy. In a democracy, everybody has a vote. In a democracy, everybody has a say. In a democracy, you can shift and move things around through politics to make certain things. In a democracy, taking bribes and gifts and so on and so forth. In a democracy, that's your way of sneaking in your word on top of the authority's word and overpowering the authority with the majority. But since we're not born, when we're born into the kingdom, we're not born into a democracy. The king has the final and only say. And by the king having the final and only say, that means that we have no choice but to give up everything to actually follow after that king. And what I come to find out in having conversations with certain sisters and people and stuff like that, I try to open up conversation with them. And what I find out is that the women really don't want the men to be kings. And I'm going to say that again. The women really don't want the men to be kings, because think about what I just said. Everything that I just said, everything that I just promoted had to do with other people putting they 2 cents in on your decision. And if that's the way that the Most High rules, then that means we get to tell him what to do. We get to tell him when his laws is done away with. But that type of function don't exist in the kingdom. It only exists in 3 or 4 of them. And a king has to be responsible for his subjects. So I'm going to put a scenario out here. I'll see if I can get you in some good trouble tonight.
Uh-oh. Wait. Just before you say that, I want to say this right here. We men, we showed up. When there was a woman that was seeking to be the leader of this land, Yasharel showed up and said, not so. Not so. Not so. So I want to throw that out. So we do have some authority. We just don't know it. Come on, brother, we the people.
Okay, all right. Here we go. All right. I want y'all to put in the chat, and this is just only the women. Only the women. I want y'all to put in the chat if you agree with if a man touches you, he has to keep you. Just put a Y for yes or put an N for no. And this is only for the women. If he touches you, he has to keep you. If he becomes intimate with you, he has to keep you for the rest of his life. I just want to see who's okay. We got one brave soul.
2. Where the rest of y'all at? I know y'all ain't tapping the screen because I'm only seeing 5 of y'all. It's 20 plus of y'all in here.
We got 2. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I want to see a Y in the chat if you agree with this, or if you disagree with this. Disagree, put an N for no. If you agree with it, put a Y for yes.
This is to the women again?
I'll do it wasn't that many women that responded.
I know.
So,
there's only 2.
Yeah. Let's do the men and the women. And we're going to do the men and the women this time. Do you want your men to be responsible kings? Yes or no? Y for yes, N for no. All right.
I know it's more women in here than that.
Yeah, they probably watching you on the back end. Huh? You know how they be. They be waiting for that controversy.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So we got a lot of yeses. Okay. So I'm gonna put you in a scenario. Okay. You're married right now. All of this is hypothetical. You're married right now. And you being married right now, you have a family, you have a wife, you have a house, became pretty successful. Congratulations. And then all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. And that knock on the door is one of your ex-girlfriends that never laid down with another man, and you was the last person that she ever been with. And now that woman is in a position, and she comes to you and she says, hey, I don't have anywhere to stay. I need help. And by the way, this is your son.
Well, this is a reverse Shirley and Barbara situation.
Timeline
Son.
is real. You know she telling you the truth? Because he look like baby uncle's talking.
Oh, Lord.
All up in the face.
Wait. Look what the woman put up there. Look what
Baby
the woman.
UT.
Look, I want y'all to write what she put. This is a lady. She said, and we now have a son. But keep with the scenario.
All right. She says, I need a place to stay. My question to you, number one, as the man, do you still see her as a wife, knowing the laws of the Most High? And would your wife at that time let her come in to live with the house and the family that you've created, separated from her?
You see that smile went to nothingness.
Well,
Boy.
well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna answer the wife part first. My wife ain't having it.
No, exactly.
So I have to put my foot down as a king. I would have to put my foot down as a king because, like I told y'all earlier, a man's children is his house. So why would I send my house away? Because my wife has a problem with the builder.
So you're gonna take the children?
Oh, okay. So my question is this. If you let her into the house, should she be honored as the first wife?
Well, the way that works, right? There is you don't number your wives like that, because when you do number your wives like first, second, and third wife, what happens is you begin to deal with a whole different scenario. You bring about what do you call it? Favoritism, controversy. So you don't want to deal with first, second, and third wife. You want to just deal with wife, and you want to deal with wife in singular when you're addressing your wives. Each woman is a wife in singular, not plurality, because that also is going to bring about another controversy. So you have to know that part.
So if a king has to take care of everybody that's in his domain, and you touched her, and you know that the two became one flesh, but your wife does not want her there, does your wife want you to be the king that the Most High told you that you have to be?
You putting him into something. Oof.
You putting him in a tough spot. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Tonight you got me. I ain't gonna tell you you got me, but I got to answer you biblically, and I got to answer you honestly. Even if my wife does not like it, I would have to make a righteous decision. And the righteous way would be to keep the woman and the child. That would be the righteous way. The unrighteous way would be say, well, the child could stay, but the woman can't.
Yep.
That would mean that you are operating in a 304-dom, because you are now willing to allow your wife to go and be defiled by more men. Because the scripture says, does not a divorced woman greatly defile the land? And so now what you're doing without doing it is you are giving her a bill of divorce. Which you now, because the Bible says that when we do that, you causeth her to commit what?
Adultery.
You see what I'm saying? So as a man, we have to make the righteous choice. Remember this now. If you look at the comments for the women, that most of them ain't trying to have that, because the woman in her mind, nah. We can keep the child, but not the woman. But remember now, the scenario was the woman he knew before you.
So does the husband, if he wants to take in that woman because he's like, man, righteously, I did touch her. I do have to keep her. And that child that's there too, that's my child. I listen, it's mine. Is the husband operating in kingdom and the wife trying to have a say in on what your decision would be? Is she operating in 304dom or democracy?
304dom, because she wants to have a voice equal to yours. She's not willing to back down, even to the point of walking away and leaving. That's 304dom. Because now she's telling you, I would rather be defiled by another man than allow you and this woman and myself to be here at any cost.
To do it God's way, to not even do it.
And all you gotta
Okay,
do now
now-
is look at the comments. Watch the comments. Keep an eye on the comments.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch the comments. I'm gonna watch the comments, but we gotta move forward. We gotta move forward with this. So now, being that, let's say the wife comes to you and she has a voice, and she does have a voice, and she expresses to you, I don't want another woman living in our house. We started this house together. It was me and you. She wasn't a part of the process. Why does she have to be a part of this process right now? Let's say if that's the mindset and she says, I don't want to be connected to this woman at all. What would your response be to your hypothetical wife?
To my wife, they would both be a wife, and I would have to let her know that she has just as much right as she do, because I've been in both of them.
So you saying that whether the wife wants to be connected to that woman or not is beyond her choice?
It's beyond her choice. It would have to be. Because if you gave her a choice in it, what you're doing, and you know righteousness, and you know the right way, you might as well just be an infidel.
But what if the wife sees the son as family? Is it possible to have a child with a woman and you to only be family with that son or daughter, but that woman is not family with you?
No, that's not even possible. Because the man, when he goes into her and he goes into her, it connects them too. One of the ways we know that is they call it sister wives. It's so serious until those women become more connected spiritually than the sister that she grew up with in the house that she with her father.
So the husband has the ability to attach through relationship another woman to even his wife by who he touches?
That's how it happens. It's by who he touched. That's why it's marriage is through intimacy. And you're right, young lady. Sister wives is not in the Bible. It is not. It's not. But the science knows that there is a connection between the women based on the men that they have been with. Science knows that. Now we neglect it because we live in what I call a society of what I call it subservientry, peasantry, because we live in a peasantry society, and so we don't value what should be valued.
That's not how kingdoms are built. Is
Right.
that what you're kind of getting at? Yep.
Right. Well, you can't build like that, because remember that woman and that child is a part of that man's house. Okay? And the man's house is not the brick and mortar. That's his legacy. The man's house is his children and the women that help him build his house.
So I spoke to somebody today that works at the courthouse, and they actually draw up marriage licenses. I asked them some of the same questions that I just got finished asking you. So I'm going to ask you one of the questions that I asked the person about marriage. If being married in America to more than one person is illegal, it is illegal to be married to more than one person at the same time. You got to get only, one license only for one person. And that's the way that we've been trained, and that's the way that we've seen it all our days and all our lives. But anyway, this is the question that I asked him. If that's illegal in America to marry more than one person at the same time, why is it not illegal to sleep with more than one person, even though you're married in America?
That great 304 Babylon, it promotes promiscuity. It promotes all of these things that we see. That's just the greatest promotion. That's why they call this the land of the free. They call it the land of the free because we have no moral standards. We are lascivious. We're chaotic. That's us. But the Most High put something in place, and someone put something up there. Well, if what you were saying is intimacy is marriage, then there will be no harlots and there will be no adultery. But that's the reason there is harlotry and adultery. It's because we don't honor it as marriage.
Right.
That's why it is. Because yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 6. And you go to verse 15, we already know marriage is becoming what? One flesh.
Right.
Right. So we have to come into it with that understanding already. At 1 Corinthians chapter 6, y'all put this in the chat to make sure everybody can follow along with that. You go to this verse right here. This is New Testament again, by the way. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15 reads, "Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them members of a harlot? Yah forbid." And then verse 16, what? "Know ye not that he which is joined to a harlot is one body? For two..."
To sleep with other women, and it's not illegal. And they still allow a woman to lay down with other men, and it's not illegal. Why is it that this is honored by the church?
Because the church has to honor what the government says. Because the church is just an extension. The church now, when I speak of church, I'm speaking of the institution that we call the church. I'm not speaking of the ecclesia or the called out ones. I'm speaking of the institution that we call the church. So the institution that we call the church, because it is an extension of the government, it has to enforce the policies of the government, not the policies or the constitution of the Most High. It has to do it the government's way. But the Most High still looks at it as, listen now, and you're right, Paria Yariala Yarishala. To God be the glory. And you're right. And I'm very familiar with Romans 13, where it says the laws of the land. I understand. But there is no law against a man sleeping with multiple women. Show it to me. Show it to me out of 300,000 laws that's on our Constitution. Show me one law that says it's against the law for a man to sleep with more than one woman. Or for a woman to sleep with more than one man. Go ahead.
No. You facts on facts. There is no law against that. And when I asked the lady that does the marriage certificates, she said to herself, she said to me, I have to process all these marriage certificates, and all of these people don't see how stupid they are. That's the person that's processing it. Not even a believer. Don't believe nothing in the Most High, nothing like that. But she says, she's in her mind, her whole opinion about it is, when will these people learn that this don't work? But she's still going to process those marriage licenses and those marriage certificates. So I asked her another question. I asked her the question I just asked you. I said, so if a man lays down with a woman and has a child, how can it be that that man only becomes family with that child, but not with that woman? Her response was that the child is considered illegitimate because the child did not come through the papers.
So, what does the Bible call that child? When the man don't keep the woman.
A bastard.
What? Say it loud.
A bastard.
So now, but it wasn't based on that. It was based on not if the man kept the woman or not. It was 100% based on whether they had the marriage license or not. Not if the man leaves her. Not if the man leaves that woman. Not if the man walks away. The man is still there, still in the same house. The child is still in the same house. She still says that the child is a bastard because the paper did not define the marriage. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with it, because what we're doing now with that type of sentiment, what we're doing is we are putting this law above God's law, where the Bible says that there is no law against his law. And so if the man, being a king, will honor himself, there is nothing that says that a man cannot sleep with multiple women. There is no law against it. So, and there is no law with how many people live in your house. So if that's the case, the only reason we have what we have is because we have a sincere desire to not do it God's way. Like most of the women say, I would prefer him to leave me and go be with her than to have me and her. So what the woman would say is, I prefer to be defiled, because the Bible says, does not a divorced woman greatly defile what? The land.
The land.
You follow me, right? So if that's the case, and women are saying, look, just defile me, the only reason she can say that is because an infidel doesn't understand being a king, and she has a harlotry mentality. She doesn't understand it, and so therefore, let me go be a harlot, and you continue to be your infidel. That's pretty much what the bottom line is. That's why I tell woman. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you got it. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
But that's why I say that infidels marry harlots, and harlots marry infidels. Come on.
Okay, so the woman said that was signing the marriage certificates or processing and whatever she does with it. She literally said that the reason why men will not get married today is because now they are informed that when they sign the certificate, the government is in their marriage with them. So most women would be married if it wasn't for the interference that the government gets to run within the household, and that the problem is now the education about this. Do you agree with that?
You better say it.
That the government is in the marriage?
That the marriage license is actually keeping women from being married, because men do not want the government in their family through that marriage license. Well, do you agree with that?
Yeah. I agree with that, but not from being married, because they're still being intimate with more than one man and more than one woman. And so most women have multiple husbands.
Well, I'm speaking, when I spoke to her, because I couldn't break all that down to her. I really couldn't. I wanted to get what her vibe was and what she was saying. Based upon how America does marriage, through the paper, through the license, she says that more women would be married if it went another way other than through this paper license. She is saying that the paper license is actually keeping men away from marrying women that they want to marry, because of how much that the government gets to be a part of the divorce, of the interference in between with other things in marriage. They get to dictate things within the marriage, and men do not want the government to have more control than they do in their relationship. Is she saying the correct thing, and is this the reason why men are not committing to these women by the paper marriage today, is because they do not want the government to be a part of it, or are they just using that as an excuse?
No, they don't want the government to be a part of it. I would say that she's right. A lot of men don't want the government in their marriages, and so since
But that's two husbands.
right,
You got the government in the marriage, and you got actual man. That's two husbands. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with somebody that's over us, or a system that's over us, and you acknowledge the system more than your husband or more than the king.
right.
And that's proven. Can I make a point? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
You about
Make
to
your
go on
point. Make your point, please.
and Pass is right. And this is the reason why the government will not give the same assistance to a married woman. When a woman is married, the government won't give them the same assistance to the woman that has nobody. So really, they jack you up on both sides. On one situation, the men know that, hey, listen, if things don't work out between me and this woman, the government gonna come in and give all my stuff, all my property over to her. I'd rather play this situationship, than to actually be with this woman that I don't know if I can trust or not. And that paper is messing it up. And man, whether he's an infidel or not, he can always use that as an excuse. But then on the other side, the women that do not have a man to claim, they get the most things from the government because they're married to the government directly. And because they're married to the government, imagine this. Imagine if I had a wife and my wife had a side dude. And we know what it is, scripturally, marriage and stuff like that through intimacy, but we just gonna use modern terminologies. Imagine my wife had a side dude, and I came short on paying my rent while my wife is with me at the time. So what I do with my goofy self, I walk all the way over to the side dude house, and I knock on his door and say, hey, listen, I'm short on rent right now. You mind, giving me $800, $400 or whatever else like that, because the same woman that you involved with, she living with me right now, and I'm short on rent. So I need you to help me. That side dude gonna look at me like I'm crazy and slam the door in my face or laugh at me or give me no assistance at all.
That's the government.
But if my wife gets with the side dude and she's over there with him, he'll pay for everything that she has. From the lights being on, to the internet, to the food in the fridge, to the mortgage, Section 8, food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, all of that gets paid for. Because the government is the side person.
I think you said it right.
You said it right.
I think you said
That's
it right.
that's what a side nigga will do.
You got it. I'll just watch from the sidelines while you handling all the heavy lifting.
That's serious.
That's a shame, though.
That's serious. That's serious. Because if the government becomes a side dude, then no wonder she don't mind being defiled. Because the government makes it permissible for her to be defiled.
Side nigga gonna always be there. The government.
And
always be there.
And until men stand up and understand what's going on, it's just going to stay that way. Until men stand up and realize what's going on. We can have these discussions all day long, but look at the comments that the women are making. They're not with this. They don't like this. This is not something that even makes sense. Because to them, a wife is by the paper, not by intimacy.
Facts. Can the women come up? Because we about to reach 100K. Can y'all come up and speak today?
Because
it'd be good to get in that
We don't have no
conversation.
foolishness, but we gonna reach 200K as well.
But I want y'all to know that woman is really not trying to. She don't want that, because in her mind, I got to share my man. Well, he got to share his woman, or he is sharing his woman, and that's the part we don't get. we don't get that every man that has touched that woman is a part of that woman until he is unalive. That part they don't get. So when that man, and we can go there if y'all want, it talks about the nakedness of a man in the woman. So when that man goes into that woman, he's looking at every man that has ever touched her every time he touched her. Those are the husbands. That's what Yahushua HaMashiach said to the woman. He says, look, you've had 5 husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And these are men that she had that she walked away from.
He even said the one that you have now is not your husband. Even that one.
Right, but when he says that the one you're with
Chapter
now, 4. That one that he was referencing himself, and the reason he was saying that was because maybe she came along with a flirtatious type of spirit. That's all I can see. Because it sounds like it was flirtatious on her part. But as a woman, y'all don't understand that. This is why it is so important to understand Ephesians chapter number 5. Because you were never designed to be intimate with more than one man. But according to our standards, because our marriage is by paper, the token of marriage, what was the token of marriage in the Bible?
It was the virginity of a woman seen through the blood that was on the sheet.
On the sheet, it was a sheet. It was not a certificate that says a license that says you're married. That wasn't it. The certificate of divorce was only issued because of the hardness of the man's heart. And what does he mean by that? The willingness of men to go into another man's woman. Because how could a woman commit adultery without a man?
I was explaining that last night. If you go into any of the verses that's regarding adultery, going to Matthew 19, going to any of them, Old Testament or New Testament, it always starts with the man. The man, if he leaves her, divorcing her, and the man, if he messes with another man's wife.
That's it. That's adultery. What we're calling adultery most of the time is not. It's fornication. All of it falls in the same place, but it is not necessarily, and it's defiling. And
So,
well, you know what? It will be
She's not a
adultery.
virgin, then it's defilement.
There you go.
So let me ask you a question, because I'm gonna just stir the pot a little bit more, not much more.
Yes, you is.
Nah, we gonna chill.
I knew you gonna do it.
All right, so back to the scenario with you and your hypothetical wife. We still on that. So
We ain't ran away from that.
we still on that. All right, so the wife feels like it's not right for you to force her to accept another woman that is your wife, and she don't want to be connected with that woman. She don't know that woman, and it's weird. It's just a weird situation if we just being honest. But if she has been with multiple men or even one man before you, was it right for you to accept her as your wife if she's been with other and connected you with other men?
It's not. It wasn't fair to me. And it was my punishment. See, the only reason we get it is because of punishment. So it's not fair. It's not fair, but it's my punishment. And it's my punishment because another man had to take another woman whose virginity I took.
So is that her being hypocritical if she's been with other men, but she doesn't want to see you with other women?
Absolutely. And that's because nobody understands. They'll argue me down about the husband piece, about it's not a man, it's not a woman bound to her husband until he's unalive. They'll argue me down about that because they believe that when they leave a man, I've moved on. They don't believe that they're being defiled. They don't believe that. They don't believe that every man that went into them was able to cross the blood-brain barrier. They don't believe that that connection is forever as long as that man is alive. His spirit is intertwined down to the marrow in her bones, all over her, behind her eyelids, on her brain, in her toenails, everywhere. And can you imagine you been with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40 different men, and all of them men are in you? No wonder they own, what's that drug called? Prozac. And it's all out of pure ignorance. What does Hosea chapter number 4 say? And those who don't understand shall do what? Shall fall.
So, you know what? I'm a chill.
Yeah, we have the sisters coming up.
Okay. I want to hear what they got to say on this one.
Can I come in quick on the scenario?
You are not a sister.
With the people scenario is a real life. Because Alaji have a wife, he had a daughter with that woman, but someone else is, he did something with, brought him a son. The woman haven't been with anybody else. So Alaji took war. That woman and the son, and they have a different house. They didn't live in the same house. The wife and his wife and him in one house. The child that the woman came with, give them different house, and he take care of both of them. They didn't live in the same house. That's a real life story in Ghana. So that's what I'm just saying. Those, if he have his money, he is the king. He know how to deal with his stuff. He deal with stuff. If the woman say he doesn't want to be with him, that's his choice. But the woman know who he is, so he will be with the king, and they follow. So that's a real life thing that goes on. That's what I'm saying. Certain places people don't know, but some places too, it exists. But that's why I say when we are going by the law, we will know that, hey, he didn't be with no other man but accept him. So when he come back, we have to accept it. So I say when we're going by the law, yeah, it's all right. But even when we're not going by the law and he was the man that know what he did, he accept them. So those things, it happens and people accept it. But they know you touch it, you have to keep it. That's those days. I'm talking about a 95 story. So it does happen.
But how do you stop the madness, Unc, from the woman saying, okay, I've been with multiple men, but I ain't bringing these multiple men to come live with us in this house. So how can you allow this woman to come in here and be in this house, whether she got your son or not? I'm not doing this to you. You're not doing it. This is not fair.
Well,
does she have a point?
No, she doesn't have. She has a point when you come to Western theory of marriage. She has a very good point. But when you come to the spiritual set of it, or God's way of it, her point is pointless, has no value to it, because what she's doing is she's tearing that man's house down. She's tearing.
If she's saying that, okay. Now, if I start finding my side Negroes that I was with from the past, and I start bringing them to this house, since we going to be all one happy family, all right, fine. Brady Bunch in full effect. But it's going to be the other fathers that was there, too. It ain't going to be just, Mrs. Brady and Mr. Brady. It's going to be all of you. You going to bring yours, I'm going to bring mine. It's going to be a party.
Listen, this is what the scripture says. Let me hear what these two young ladies got to say first. But turn over to Ephesians chapter number 5, and we're going to start at verse number 25. Ephesians 5, verse 25. When these ladies finish talking, that's where we're going to be. Come on, you got to say your name, young lady. Pariah. There we go.
Yes. Shalom, brothers. This scenario a little too heavy for me. The only thing that I was really that I wanted to speak on was when you brought up marriage certificates. Now, our genealogy, the genealogies that we have, are based on legitimized marriages. All those men, as they tell the line of who begot, that means that we were recording the marriages as well. The reason why it feels so funny now is because we're not governing ourselves anymore. Back then, it wasn't a problem for us to, go into covenant with each other publicly and record that we did this so that we could keep the genealogy. But now the government has tainted it and made it not like how our traditions are in our original heritage, which is what we're, learning to get back to. but they had to be keeping the records of the legitimized marriages to have a legitimate genealogy. Because the only way that a child could be legitimately yours is if you guys were married. Otherwise, it would be a bastard. So that's pretty much all I had to say on that. The scenario too heavy and you making it messier and messier. So I don't got nothing to say on that one.
To God be. Sister Abigail.
Man, y'all got me cracking up. I'm at the pool right now with our children. But we the people, he on it, because even when he said, shoot, that woman and that child come up in here, you best believe, shoot, my ex-husband and whoever else, all the people I slept with, they gonna come up in this house too. But thinking like that is more so like a tit for tat kind of thing. It's gonna be a whole bunch of confusion going on. But I'm glad that y'all talking about this, because me and my husband, we have had these conversations. I'm like, okay, I hear what y'all saying on the live. But okay, say that scenario do happen, somebody do come to the door talking about this your child, what we gonna do? So I appreciate y'all just touching on that. I also wanted to say, and I put it in the comments as well, that as far as Section 8 in the government in general, I'm saying this from a woman's perspective, and this is what I was raised on, from grandma telling me to mama telling me to auntie telling me. They never once spoke about marriage, y'all. They never once talked about honoring your husband, let alone having a husband. They was more so talking about, y'all need to get on Section 8. Sleep with these men, have as many babies as you want to. The ultimate goal is Section 8 and food stamps. I know I'm not the only one that was raised like this. So this is stuff that needs to be taught to our daughters, in which I have been, not only to, our daughters that we have, but other women as well. I have seen young women, and I'm talking about when I was in the church, in the building. All them young girls looked up to me as I was their mother. But their actual biological mothers was telling them to sleep with these young boys. I'm talking about in high school, middle school, y'all, to get on food stamps. And it had me to the point where I was crying and praying, because this is what we teaching this generation. But I was taught it too. But I just decided not to go that route. But this is stuff that is taught. My grandmother and my mama didn't say it, but she was doing it. Now, my daddy was there for 15 years. They weren't, paper written married, but they was married as we talking right now, because, they had slept together, what have you. But they was together for 15 years. Do you know my mama was on Section 8? When that man came, and I'm talking about the landlord, my daddy had to leave. Clothes had to be moved out the closet and some more stuff. I'm a child watching all this, y'all. Same stuff is going on now. Now, when they did get married by paper, they was married for, by paper, a month and got a divorce, y'all. All them years they was together. But this is what I have experienced. So, even the topic of even marriage is foreign in our community. And I'm sorry to say it, but it is. You don't see it, it's rare. And when you see it, they cheating, it's side people that they with. I mean, it's prevalent. They disrespecting one another. They clowning one another at the family functions and some more stuff. I done seen some stuff, y'all. It make you not even want to be married. But I just wanted to share that. I appreciate what y'all doing, what y'all saying. But I'm a realist. So I'm giving it to you real. And what the majority of the women gonna tell y'all is we was not taught to be married. Now we talking about a man and his children and how they all supposed to come with him along with the woman that's his wife prior and so forth. Man, that's like above our heads from what we were taught. We was more so taught. Man, I got family members to this day, 60-something, dang near 70, still on Section 8. Ain't never been off Section 8. But I guarantee you this, it might not have been no husbands in that household around them children, but it was men in and out that house, and I did witness that. And they all call themselves single women. Single women with all these children, whatever. But it was men in and around and about that apartment building and some more. So like Unc said, if it's all these children, common sense, the landlord should say, God damn it, you had one child. Now you got four, so it got to be a man somewhere coming in and out of here. But I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate y'all, and y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I'm enjoying it.
To God be the glory, y'all.
Know that there's some man
but
I mean, that's why they designed those apartments, or designed that system to be that way.
Right.
Based off of the benefits of the man, so the man can't have his seed, his children, so they give them to the woman. You know, it's a bass-backwards thing.
That's what's up. Hey, Brother Norriswell, talk to me. What do you want to say?
This is beautiful.
I'm enjoying the live as well, family. And in these last days, truth is oozing out of the earth. And sacred energy exchanged with a undefiled woman was marriage. And that's the truth. And the truth of the matter is that worldwide, there are over 80 million more women than men. And in some countries and nations, there are 16 women to every one man. And according to the Bible, Old and New Testament, all marriages always took place in the bedroom. And the marriage license was not invented or created until 1,100 years after the New Testament was written and completed. So when you look at the ratio of women to men on planet Earth, this is why you have so many single mothers and single women, because the churches and the assemblies and respectfully the governments won't share the truth on what marriage originally was according to the Bible. And it took place in the bedroom with a woman that was never touched by any man. And I gotta shoot from the hip. Listen, my oldest child, believe it or not, in 2 years or less will be 40 years old. I have several adult, beautiful daughters. But that does not stop me from preaching and teaching the truth about biblical marriage. When are we going to put away traditions of men and follow what the scriptures actually says? This is beautiful, family. Let me mute until you let me back on.
I want to thank you for that, Brother Noise. I want to go over that acronym that he used. The energy exchange. Brother Norriswell, can you put it in that acronym in the letters in the chat, please? I heard the word, but I know a lot of people missed it because you used it in this acronym form. If you could put that in the chat, there we go. Y'all see that? Sacred energy exchange. You take each letter, first letter, and then you'll understand what he's talking about. Sacred energy exchange. Okay, go ahead, brother. We the people.
Yeah, no, I was, just to continue on the conversation I had with the person that was processing the marriage licenses, I asked her, I said, if marriage is only legal by paperwork, what about all of the marriages that existed before the marriage license existed? She said that the stance that she has on it is that all of those marriages are illegal without the paperwork, meaning that everybody that did not do it through the paper marriage way, you are an adulterer and you are an adulteress, even though the paper way to do it didn't exist until, very, very recent history. I thought that was a little bit unfair, but I wanted to speak to Sister Pariah. She makes some pretty good points. Thank you for saying that it was messy. Because with the example,
I got something to add on too when you get a sec.
Yeah, no problem. I got you. So the reason why I'm making this example, Sister Pariah, and I always put Unc under the gun. I ask him some weird questions and I come out of left field and everything else like that because we testing out what he's saying. He's saying that there's certain things that's built on what the Most High did and nothing else, and that we have to follow these ways as an example. And as a people, we need to come back to these ways. But when I create examples like this, because we've been with many different people, some of us has been with many different people, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, and we try to illustrate a picture of people that's trying to return back to the laws of the Most High. Is showing you how messy everything that we actually lived was. And for some of us, still is. And some of us are still dealing with baby mama drama that's on the edge of almost being this. Baby daddy drama that's on the edge of being these things that we're talking about. And I hate that we there, sis. I hate that we there. And I ain't trying to make it, super messy for, an excitement factor or anything like that. We are really living like this, y'all. Like, women are getting married through that piece of paper that lady was telling me about. And they're saying, woo, almost like I'm a virgin again. And the men are going, man, I got the best thing in the world, man. Ain't nobody touching my girl. Ain't nobody messing with my girl. And all of this history is following us into the marriage. We're taking all of these spirits into the marriage with us. Who he touched, who she touched, all of these things. And then sometimes there's children that appear out of it. And we got to interact. And then there's children that's walking around and they're like, yo, my mom and my dad together, but we ain't really family because this person over here don't have that piece of paper. Daggone. It affects every level. And if a man steps up and says, well, I'm a king, anything that I touch, I own. I'm going to be responsible for it, and it's going to be well taken care of because we're going to have all things in common in my kingdom. So if she got this, she going to have that. If I touched her and she got that, I touched her. But if it goes back to that, we don't want to see that type of king in this society. I don't think that we want to see it.
I feel you on that. Somebody has something to say because I want to get to Ephesians. I got to get through this tonight.
Come on. I wanted to just add on for people that don't really seem to know what adultery means. Like, we think of a lot of times as adultery just being, that means you cheated, right? But the Bible itself defines what adultery is. Yahushua HaMashiach states it himself what it is. Yet, we don't really seem to understand it. You go into the law as well, too. It's the same concept when you're breaking this law. But I just wanted to read two things, because two things got brought up regarding that. But first is just our understanding in general of what adultery is. And that's going to just in Matthew 19 at verse 9, and it just reads, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. Okay, she goes out doing something, right? And shall marry another, commits adultery. So if that man is what we've been talking about the whole life, if you touch that woman and then you don't want to keep her, you are committing adultery. You are going against the Most High. And whosoever marry her, which is put away, doeth commit adultery. Once again, it's on to the man. If the man is going into that woman that's already married, then he's committing adultery. So it's the same thing with us understanding that and breaking that down, that piece by piece, understanding what adultery is. And that's why every time we go back into the law, we see that a man is going to be unallowed for messing with a married woman. That woman is tied to that man. You go through all the scriptures, that woman is tied to that man until he is unalive, to that man that she was with. But even when we're talking about the whole marriage licenses, we're bringing up that. I want y'all to look at this with Isaac. We know Isaac, and we know Rebecca. The servant went to go get Rebecca to bring back to Isaac. But if y'all go to Genesis 24, and yes, it's when a woman breaks wedlock. Yes. You look up the word on that. Yeah, in Leviticus. You go back and look through the Old Testament. It even shows you it's when a woman breaks wedlock. But I'm saying it has two different sides to it. You got the man's side and you got the woman's side, but it's different for the man than it is for the woman. And that's what I'm breaking down right there. But for you go on to Genesis 24 verse 67, it even tells you that when Isaac was first brought, or when Rebecca was first brought to Isaac, this is what happened right then. Verse 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's unalivement.
Where was the license?
Right there. When he took her to the bedroom. When he took her to his mother's tent. He took her to his mother's tent. Sarah's tent. and she became his wife.
I wanted to throw a curveball in there, but I'm gonna chill. There's other people that's up here. I think the brother at the top didn't get a chance to say anything.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, the adultery piece is two sides to it. As Norris well said, the men and the women, two different sides on the adultery piece.
No, there is no physical. The physical license only came as a means for the government to be into the marriage. But that man that touched you, and especially, I want to read something, but I'm gonna address this. I'm gonna try to get to it before we get off tonight. My man at the top, I don't know your name, but you at the very top, above pass. Talk to me.
Shalom, shalom. Blessings, my brothers and my sisters. Peace and blessings.
Shalom.
Hey, young fella.
You know what?
Shalom.
Hey, shalom, shalom.
And when I walked in, I was immediately motivated by what I saw. You know, host, it's my first time being on your panel. But the introduction, it said, the law of God reveals the perfect connection between the spiritual and the natural. Let's do it God's way. Israel is the chosen people. I only wanted to give y'all some words of encouragement very briefly. We know for a fact that we've been scattered to lands that's not our own to worship gods that our fathers never knew. And I only wanted to read one verse just to reinforce the fact that this Bible is very much so true. And it's a real story that's talking about a real happening that's going to take place on this earth as it is in heaven. And this verse is Amos chapter 9, verse 7. Are you not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Saith the Lord. Have I not brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Captor, and the Syrians from Ker? So this is what the prophet saw concerning those scattered Africans. And in the last days, somebody from amongst us is going to remember and restore that throne to David. And we're going to establish a kingdom that all nations flow unto in these last days. So I salute to you.
What happened?
So you got cut out right in the middle of talking.
No, it's all good. He might have been at that. I'm not sure.
He said someone dropped it. I'm not sure what happened. But we appreciate your comment, though, man. We really do appreciate your comment. Oh, he came back. Come on back, man.
Yeah, no, it said disconnect. It might have been an accident. It said disconnected by moderator, but all I was saying is the scriptures is most definitely true. And I salute to you, brother, making the connection between the spiritual and the natural, because this is what we need now more than ever. So I salute to you, Uncle. Peace and blessings.
To God be the glory, man. We thank God for you. Be blessed, my friend.
Hallelujah.
Be blessed, be blessed. But that's what it's all about. I want to read this real quick, y'all. I want to read this before we get too far. And it says, husbands, love your wives, even as Yahushua HaMashiach loved the church. And I'm not talking about the building. He's not talking about the building. He's talking about the ecclesia, okay, the called out ones. And gave himself for it. Let me explain. The husband is to love the wife as a called out one. Okay? Ecclesia. Special. And this is what he do. The purpose of calling her out was for this. That he might sanctify her and cleanse her with the washing by the word. Sanctify means to make her holy. So when that man, the husband, who loves his wife, because he called her out. He called her out. That's why when a man finds you, that's what it's supposed to be, because he calls you out. That he might sanctify her, make her holy, cleanse her with the washing of the word. So, and all of this is for him. This ain't got nothing to do with her. This is for him. This is why the scripture says that the worst thing a person can do, another man can do, is to bother another man's wife. There's nothing more dangerous than that. And this is why. Because he called her out and he sanctified her for this reason. That he might present her or it to himself a glorious church. So the main objective for the man getting a wife is to sanctify her, cleanse her with the word. What is the word? What is the word, y'all? So she might come with a lot of flaws. She might come with a lot of different men in her. She might come with babies and baby mama drama. She might come with all of that. But when that man picks her, that one that decides to keep her, his objective is to sanctify her. This is a king. This is a king. So the word, thank you for putting up there. The word is the law of God. So how does he cleanse her? He keeps giving her the word. Well, how does he give her the word? Because he's meditating on it day and night. Well, what does that word meditate mean? He's talking to himself. So if we became one, so I'm not only talking to myself, I'm also talking to her. Because she's one flesh with me. Now listen to what this is what it does. That he might present to himself a glorious church, having not a spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So when that man takes that woman, women, this is good for you. Men, this is good for you. If we can understand what's happening as a husband, so when that man goes into you as a king, I'm not talking about an infidel. I'm not talking about an infidel. An infidel, he's not going to go because he hasn't repented, D. But that king man, that one that's taking charge, keeping the law, that's accepting his charge, keeping the law, the testimonies, the statutes, the commandments, that man is the king in your life. And his stance is the most high because he's bringing you into his kingdom because his kingdom is connected to his kingdom. Therefore, creating a scenario where his wife can only have joy. Not from a Christian perspective. I was asked a question last night, can Christianity coincide with the laws of Israel? My answer was no, they cannot. Christianity cannot coincide with the law. It's not possible because it is opposition, because they don't agree. Christianity say you need a certificate for marriage. The law says if you touch her, you got to keep her. Christianity say you can divorce her and marry another one. The law says if you're not to divorce her, and if you touch another woman, she's yours too. Those were the boundaries. And it has nothing to do with just a pleasure. The first purpose of intimacy is what? What is the first purpose of intimacy?
Procreation.
But if you are an infidel or a harlot, what is the first purpose of intimacy?
Pleasure.
So you decide where you stand. You decide where you stand. If pleasure is it for you, that's all you want out of it, you are either an infidel or a harlot. If that's your whole goal. Do y'all understand why Rachel gave Jacob her handmaiden? Y'all know why, right? It wasn't because they were not being intimate. It was because she said, the Lord has closed my womb.
She couldn't have none.
There you go. Even though she had another one after that, she said, the Lord has closed my womb. And what does that mean? That means she couldn't have children. So she said, look, go into my handmaid.
Was she wrong for that?
No.
No.
That was righteous.
So, all right. So if she wasn't wrong for saying, hey, go into my handmaid and to do that, that's why Ruth, what was that? Man, I done forgot the chapter. Chapter
Ruth
4, verse 11.
Chapter 4, verse 11.
Can we go there? Can somebody go there and read that real quick? Because some people think that, thanks. I go back. I'm here now. I got it right now. And it says, and all the people were in the gate, and the elders said, we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel, and
do thou worthy in Ephraim and be famous in Bethlehem.
So if Rachel and Leah, and let me say it the right way, if Leah and Rachel are both the example, yeah, we gotta put respect on Leah. If Leah and Rachel are the examples, even after the law is written to the children of Israel on how the women should be, why would the Most if having a multiple marriage wife is wrong, why would the Most High make two women that was in a multiple marriage the example of what every woman should be that's in the house of Israel?
But I got a scenario.
Salakia, we got to get clear on that. Now, Jacob was finessed into taking both of those women. He only wanted one of them. He didn't want both of them.
He could have left if he wanted to, but he was working. You know what I'm saying? Shoot.
Now he was honorable and righteous. That's what he know he went into her already once he was tricked. You gotta be careful because Laban had him work for him. And then they had a party. He was ready to take his woman after that 7-year run. He was like, I'm ready to get my wife and get out of here. He was like, no, wait a minute. We're going to feast and have a party and kick it. And then he sent Leah in there. He sent the wrong white woman in there on purpose. Because where they come from their customs, he couldn't marry off his younger daughter without marrying off the older daughter first. So that's why he was tricked into that. So we can't act like he wanted both of those women. He did not.
So he showed up and let him go either though, and it didn't stop him from still going into her many times.
Because he had 7 kids by the one he didn't want.
Did not stop him from not going in her.
But it also talks about how God punished God. That was
wait.
By the one he did not like.
Wait. I understand your point, but I don't want to go into that piece. That's going to take us in a whole nother scenario. I try to stay, and I understand your point.
Salakia.
I understand your point. I do understand. Trust me, I understand your point. I do. I'm only making the point that we're trying to make today is that it is permissible in the sight of the Most High.
Facts on facts.
That's all we're saying.
And I agree with that. I do not disagree with that.
That's all we're saying.
Like I do not. Multiple wives is not unlawful. No.
Right. That's all we're saying. It's not unlawful. That's it. So whether Jacob wanted them or not wanted them, none of that matters. The Most High says okay because he told David, "I would have given you as many wives as you wanted. Why you had to touch this man one wife?"
Facts on facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And these two women are still made the model citizens of what the women should be in the house of Israel. So despite, I guess, how they got together, because you're right, historically, that is how they got together. That was the timeline. That was the series of events that happened. We can read that in the Torah. Everybody can see that for surely. However, it was the Most High's will that those things happen for even Judah and Levi to be here, so on and so forth, and everything else like that. He had an ultimate plan. Not only did he permit it, he regulated it. Not only did he regulate it, he never spoke against it. So if you look at those things that the Most High did and that he set up, how can we break away from the things of the Most High and try to cleave on to even what the Gentiles are doing today? And they're defining marriage by the paper, and they're saying anybody that did marriage before the marriage license exists, you're pretty much fornicators and adulterers. That's their stance on it. That even means Jacob, Abraham, all of them, Zilpah, Bilhah, all of them. They were all adulterers and fornicators according to the ones that are writing the laws today. So there's got to be a clear dividing line between the laws of the Most High and what he set up for marriage and what I probably would say what we follow because we was just born here and this is the culture for us, right now.
But I just want to add on one piece with that. What you said with the people. You said a great point, but about the Most High's will, when you look at Tamar, she did the same thing. And in that very next verse, she's brought up too. She's brought up. And her way that she got that child through Judah was unrighteous. But it turned into, Judah himself said that you have been more righteous than I have. Because she was promised that child. Even though she went about it in a terrible, quote unquote, way, it was the Most High's will within it. So,
but
yeah.
Can I say something on that part with Judah? She wasn't unrighteous, and I'm gonna say that because she was promised to be continued in that bloodline family. Right. Judah was the one that was operating in an underhanded type way. Like, I'm saying, when he dealt with her and said, "Hey, go back to your pop's house," and and everything else.
Yeah, she's been more righteous than I.
Yeah, but to say that she has been more righteous than I, if our father Judah has to say, that woman Tamar has been more righteous than I, the word righteous means to be in right standing by law. What law did she keep? The law of marriage. She didn't let no other man enter into her except for the ones that was promised from that bloodline of who she was supposed to be passed down to. And when it didn't happen and those things didn't take place, she stayed within that, and Judah knew she kept me from committing an act that would have been counted against me.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Still inside the bloodhouse, still inside the family, the house, everything.
Yeah, the laws are written on that later on. When we see the laws of if correct me if I'm wrong, the law where it talks about if the husband is deceased, then the brother takes on the wife, and then she bears that first son. And when she bears that first son, it's not even counted as that man's son. That is with her at that time is counted as the one that was deceased, the family member that was deceased that she was first married to. And that kind of goes into how much that the two become one flesh. Like, like even though she laid with that dude that's deceased, everything that's on the inside of that woman, because he entered it so many times, even that baby is even counted as that first man's. Most High ain't making no mistakes. He ain't lying about that. And he's not makeshifting something. He is literally putting something in place when he said the two is going to become one flesh, even that it gets honored from what we see in Judah all the way to what we see in the laws. There's a lot of parallels there. I'm not saying I'm saying it all perfectly right now, but there's a lot of parallels that I think we can look into and see that, hey, the Most High is serious about marriages.
He's very serious, because marriage, and I'm reading it to you right here. I'm reading it to you how serious he is, because the man sanctified the woman. This is why it has to all work from a kingdom perspective, not from a 304-dom perspective. Because if we do it from a queendom, a 304 perspective, these are the two dominions that the Bible speaks about, darkness and light, the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light. The darkness is 304-dom. That's darkness. That's where women lead men. And how do women lead men? What is the woman's best way to lead a man? With her what?
Her places.
Right.
Her assets.
Her for JJ.
Her assets.
Her body. That's how. And what happens is, so what we do, right, is we follow that as men. And what we do when we do that, we give our authority over to her. And so we're no longer a king.
But
that's why the Bible says that a man that's an infidel does not take care of his house. What is a man's house? Is it his building? Is it his brick and mortar? No. A man's house is his children.
Facts.
And so we don't understand these things, so we try to make them up. We try to make them up to make it fit. But no, your house is not your building. Your house is your children. Your women build your house. So your women are your construction workers. They're building your house. That's the help meet. They're building the house. And so if the woman don't want to build the house, what good is she? Only for pleasure.
No, the economy. That's why Rachel was tripping.
The economy is too high.
She couldn't help build the house without having children.
Hey, pass. You know what the scripture says. Put that nail out your tent.
Put that nail out the tent. They can't produce that nail out your tent.
So my question is this, let's slow for a second, because you said something that was pretty key, and it might have went over some people's head. You said it's the husband that sanctifies the wife. Is that the statement? Because I'm gonna pick on you, man. I'm gonna get on you. I'm gonna get on you right now. I'm gonna get on you. So are you doubling down and saying that it's the husband that sanctifies the wife? Because I know plenty of wives that say it's not the husband that sanctified me. I'm sanctified by Jesus, by Yahusha. They say that he's the one that sanctifies me. So who is doing the sanctifying? Is it Yahusha or is it the husband?
Let's read it again. I'm coming from Ephesians chapter 5, verse number 25. Husbands, love your wives. Then the comparison is, even as Christ, Yahushua HaMashiach, loved the ecclesia, the called out ones, the church, and gave himself for it. Now he begins to lay out what that looks like. That he might sanctify it. Who's the he? The male man. Now, why is God equating the husband to Christ? You got to go all the way over to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 7. For he is the image of the Most High. So now he sanctified her and he cleansed her. So the sanctification for the woman actually comes from the man.
So wait a second. So to sanctify, what does that mean? Give me only 2 or 3 words. Let's make it. Let's get out the. Let's just make it simple. What is, when you say sanctify? What is he doing to the wife?
Making her holy, making her Kaddish, different, separated, anointed for his use only.
So when the husband, hey, shalom, I don't know what that is, but hey, what's going on?
Can I have like a normal debate with you guys about God?
Sound like a minor.
Respectfully, sis, we're in the middle. Yeah.
We don't debate over here.
Nah.
Yeah. So what I was going to say was that in that sense, if you're talking about it's the husband that makes the wife holy, and that's what it says, and if that's what it is, which means to be separated. You're saying that when he marries her, he separates her from everything else.
She becomes like the showbread in the temple. Can't nobody touch her. Remember the showbread.
Facts. David ate it, but they were saying, hey, hey, I got what you said.
It was all right.
David was cool.
So that man now has set her aside to be the showbread. That's his prize. That's his. The Bible says that the woman is the glory to the man. So that means that she becomes his glory. That word glory means she becomes obedient to him. Why? Because of the word. Because what it says here they do. It says that not only does he sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of the word. What is the word? What is the word? Put in the chat what the word is. And put in the chat, I am Israel. Everybody write that in the chat real quick. I am Israel. And what is the word?
Israel.
What is the word? The law. Thank you for that. That's the law. That's the law. So what a man is doing is because what is the purpose of a man? A man that is showing, that's taking the charge is doing what? He's meditating on what? The law. You see what I'm saying? And so if I'm only talking the law, what am I doing? I'm washing her. And David says that purge me, wash me whiter than snow, created me a clean heart, renew a right spirit in me. So when that man now, because he got a right spirit in him, he's been renewed because he's washed with the word. Now he's able to give it to her. Now that, my friend, is the kingdom. I'm going to prove it to you right now. I'm going to show you this is the kingdom. And it says it right here. And it says that he might present her. I'm just using her, but the Bible says it because it's referencing Christ and the man to each other. But I'm saying that he might present her to himself glorious. Church. That word church is ecclesia, which means called out ones. So no matter what your situation is, no matter what you went through, if that man touches you, all your situations come to him. Now you have a responsibility too, because he started out by telling wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband as unto the Lord. So you have to, when you meet that man and you got 5 different baby daddies, you've been with 40 different men, you got to be willing to submit to that man because his whole objective is to sanctify you. Because everything is to be presented to the Lord. Now this is it. This is it. Listen now. But that it should be holy and without blemish. So that means that usually when a woman marries a man according to our lifestyle, according to our standards, when a woman says yes to a man proposal on his one knee, it's because he has pleasured her better than all of the other men she's been with. She ain't gonna never tell you yes if you don't meet that, brothers. If you don't be better than the other men that she's been with, you're not getting a yes. You're not getting that. Because she's still got in her mind there's somebody better than you in that area. And I'm still looking. Yeah, I said it, and I don't bite my tongue. You don't.
And this is marriage in 304 them.
Right, 304 them. Because this is, well, like I told you, who do harlots marry?
Infidels. You keep on hitting this boy.
And who do infidels marry?
304s.
Y'all got it now, right? And so this is what it says. So all men love their wives as their own body, one flesh. He that loveth his wife does what? Himself. Why is he putting that there?
They one body.
There you go. And so as I wash myself, guess who else I'm washing? Her.
My wife.
The only reason it is not being portrayed or it's not being pushed is because the man don't understand who he is. And so what we're doing is we're jumping from woman to woman. I divorce her, I marry her, divorce her, divorce her. I go from this one to that one to this one to that one. And we think that's normal. It's not normal. Do y'all understand the Bible says that he turned you over to yourself because you refuse to do it God's way?
So if the act of sanctifying your wife is to separate her from everybody else where only you touch her and you have her in intimacy in every aspect of life, right? You're the only one teaching her the word and praying and fasting, so on and so forth. Like all of the things, not just in the bedroom, but we understand that that's where the connection, where the two become the one flesh. So when a husband says, "I don't want you no more," and he throws you away,
throw himself away.
Are you saying that are you saying that the husband is doing the opposite of making her sanctified? Are you saying that through the divorce, it's the opposite of making her holy? You just made her unholy. You just made her common for anybody to touch her.
Well, let me establish that. Because if he was a holy man, he wouldn't do that. Now, if he's an infidel and she's a harlot, it ain't no problem.
They just considered defiled land.
You know what I'm saying? If he's an infidel, because only an infidel gonna throw away himself. You follow me, right?
What about the men who don't necessarily know the truth, but they entering into these marriages?
They are infidels. See, because if you don't understand what the covenant of it is, you're only entering into a marriage based off of American standards for pleasure. Most people don't get married to have children. They get married to be right for the church. I want to be legal in the land. That's the main reason. It ain't for children, because most women, if you marry a man, you marry a man for these three reasons: height, size, and pocket. 6 feet tall, 6 inches of issue, and a 6-figure income.
Hey, you could have repeated that. You know how past say, "Hey, timestamp this and record that." You could have ran that back because that is why most men marry women according to American standards, because they are pressured by society.
No. And you're right. You're right. And you're right too. But if you are out here and all you want to do is go into women for pleasure and you want to make babies and leave babies and you want to have babies over here and marry over there and you want to do it like this, baby, you are an infidel.
You are an infidel.
Whether you know it or not. Truth is unyielding, baby. It don't care how you feel, how you live, and the truth is the truth. It is what it is.
So, all right. So, all right, come on, man. We got to slow. So, in the kingdom, you saying that the way that the Most High designed the kingdom to be is that houses are supposed to be built in the kingdom through marriage and through the multiplication of children.
Absolutely.
And, okay, so, all right, so if in the kingdom the Most High's design is houses, then we got to say in 304 them, or in queendom, or 304 them, whichever way you want to say it, the design of the house is not the way that's talked about. You're raising your children in the brothel. It's either you're going to raise your child in a house in the kingdom, or you're raising your children in brothels. And people don't understand what brothels are. That's where the 304 resides and receives many customers.
That's and the government is the pimp.
Facts on facts. So if that's the case, and it is the case, if that's the case, and that's what we actually dealing with, what I just want you to think for a second, what kind of children would raising a child in the house of the kingdom, in the kingdom, in the Most High's kingdom, what would that produce? What would that produce? What kind of man or what kind of woman would that produce in society? And what kind of boy or what type of girl or what type of man or woman would it produce if we was actually raised in brothels and not houses?
Okay.
Would it not look like?
Oh, I got you.
Would it not look? Okay, all right. So all right. I set it up. Go ahead. Alley-oop.
So in the kingdom, you will have legitimate righteous children. Legitimate righteous children. In a brothel, you're going to have monsters.
Abominations.
Right. These are monsters. These children are mixed with so many different spirits. And it's because the woman has been with so many different men. Every time a woman sleeps with a man, she's not going to get pregnant. But every time she sleeps with a man, she's going to take on the characteristics of that man. This is why you can meet some women and their voices are deeper than mine, a lot of men. Some of them are more masculine than us. Because that is a sign that they've been with so many men.
It's a schizophrenia.
It is a sign. And a woman, oh my God, y'all, we just gotta repent. I'm gonna say that.
No. But I know you're right. You ain't gotta stop because a lot of people and a lot of women that go to have relationship with other women that walk around like they the men. A lot of times, these are the women that got ran through.
They're the most
promiscuous. And when I say facts, like I'm saying, and the thing about it is that when you look at how they walk, you look at how they move from a distance, unless you knew, like I'm saying, like, yo, it make you look twice because they dress like man, they put on cologne like a man, they walk like man, they talk like a man, and it's just like, well, wait a second, then it's almost like you almost gotta look to find that the woman that the Most High created them to be. You can barely see it. It's almost like there's barely a remnant of what was there. And I know that the Most High can save, He can rescue, He can forgive sin, all of that, deliver people from that stuff. But I'm telling you that the truth be told is that one of the first things that women do when they leave a relationship where they've been intimate with a man, the first thing that they do is cut their hair. A lot of women run and cut their hair because the hair represents something. What does the hair represent? The hair represents your covering. It represents the what? The man. So you showing the world, I have freed myself from this man because one of the things that I did, I cut my hair. But then when you look at the woman-on-woman community and the woman that wants to take the position of the man, what type of hair she got?
Hey, hold on, we the people. That was so powerful that you just said. Now I'm behaving like past. That was another timestamp moment, what you just said when they cut their hair. Please run that back. Let me mute again.
Well, the reason why I'm saying it and I'm bringing it out is because this is what the brothels produced. This is what happens when you don't like the kingdom, when you don't like the masculine, when you don't like the Elohim that created the heaven and the earth, and you go in, and your house is a brothel. And this is the crazy part about it. Y'all got to look up and see why they call them monsters. Did you know that in the dictionary, the definition, watch this, in the Black's Law Dictionary, because they're using the law against you, in the Black's Law Dictionary, when you look up the term monsters, it means a human being. I'll get into that part later. I ain't got that type of time. It means a human being that is unnaturally born. And because of whatever happened with the mother and the father, the baby is deformed in some sort of way. And that's a child that is left without any inheritance. How many children are running around and they don't have any inheritance and they're born unnatural? It also says that these are the children that are unreasonable. How many children do you see that's unreasonable? How many children do you see that came from a mother that done laid down with the whole block, laid down with the whole neighborhood, the whole zip code, and got to move from one state to another, got to change jobs and everything like that, got to become religious, all of these things. And your children, not we the people, not other people. This government that's giving out these marriage licenses, they're calling y'all exactly what it said that you would produce. It says it in the scriptures that y'all would bring forth monsters. And look at the definitions that they put on this. How many YNs do you see that's unreasonable? How many do you see that's unnatural? They can't even do nothing. How many of us are walking around and don't have any heirs? Don't have nothing to inherit? They talking about us.
We the people. Can I come here for a second? All I'm going to say is for our sisters. We love you guys. That's why we are talking. It's our fault. Because if we don't do it, you guys won't be like that.
Facts on facts.
All we are talking is close your legs. That's all. We will come, but when we come, close our legs. Because we always take accountability first. We cause all this. That's what Uncle always said. He talks to us all the time. We the men have to change. We can change everything. So we are doing our part. You guys have to help us to make this thing work. Because if you guys can't close your legs, some of us are trying, and some of us cannot try it or cannot do it. So when they come, close their legs. We the people, like we've been talking about this all the time. This verse outreach is a big thing. That's what destroying relationship and marriage nowadays. Because it said the man have to wash the woman. What do you think the wash is about? Which means he had to teach her. But here we teaching you, we teach, and they say you are masculine. We teach, then you are a woman basher. You teach. The washing is teaching you. Sanctify you with the word is for you to know everything we have teach you. So then when we are not around, we know you are safe. So everything is in the Bible. What we do is for you. It's a protection of you, our sisters. So we are not bashing. We know we talk and it feels like it's all about the women, but no, it's about us. So that's what sometimes I said, we the men know the tigers in the bush. So when you guys are going somewhere and we're not around there, we scared that anybody can jump on you guys. That's why we like to protect you guys. So when you guys want to go for the girls trip and you are alone going, we say, hey, it's not safe. Why? Because we know the tigers in the jungle. We are the tigers in the jungle, so we know how they act. Not that we don't trust you, the women, but we know those tigers in the jungle, what they can do. So girls, our sisters, try to close their legs. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, Brother Boite. Thank you. All right, Chief, Chef King, come on.
King Scribe.
King Scribe, I'm sorry. That's yeah. I've been thinking about you today, King. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How everybody doing?
All right, man. I'm glad you up here, man. I was gonna ask about you too. Go ahead, talk.
Appreciate it. Now, I was going to say this. I do put a lot of responsibility when we talk about the protection on the men, right? Because even when you look in the book of Numbers, when it talks about a woman making a vow, you notice she's in her father's house, right? Like, you know, when we say to the women close their legs, right? I think we believe that the woman is her own leader sometimes, right? I think sometimes, but the protector of the woman is her father, right? And I think a lot of we've been accustomed to throwing our children out in the streets and letting them fend for themselves. You don't find in the Bible where you're going to find a woman just out there by herself, no covering, no nothing, right? Why? It's not on her to protect herself, right? The moment she tries to step in that role as being her own covering, right, she's out of place. Now she's not even operating in her nature, right? So I do think as men, that's one thing is like, you know, I've realized like the women are the reflection of us, right? If all the men chose to, we only deal with women that are either one, a virgin, or two, has a certificate of divorce, meaning she's touchable again, right? Because if men are dealing with women that are not virgins and they have no bill of divorce, how do you know she's not somebody else's wife? How do you know she was not a harlot in the streets? You don't, right? And then the reason why God had the bill of divorce is so that you know you can touch her, so that you're not birthing abominations. You know what I'm saying? In the land, you're not causing the land to sin, right? So I think when we as men raise our morale and our standards, even among each other, is, you know, have you gone through the necessary steps that God has set to protect you, to protect that woman, and to protect the offspring so that Israel can grow? Because Israel can't grow if all of our kids are abominations. If we're marrying each other's wives, right, unbeknownst to us. If we are sleeping with the harlots and birthing their children, right? So I think when we really dive into the law, especially on marriage, because, and I'm going to land on this, I think we really have to get back into studying marriage, what marriage is, how it's to be done correctly, you know, dealing with women that are still in their father's house. You know what I'm saying? Teaching our sons, deal with the woman that's in her father's house, because you know she knows how to follow her covering. When you're dealing with the woman that's not in her father's house, sometimes you don't know. It's up in the air. You know, so I think as men, we got to really raise the standards and teach our sons, right, the same laws, and our daughters the laws also, so that, you know, our offspring can be better than we were. Because a lot of us are coming into the truth. We were raised in these religions, right, supremacists of other people, right, but now that we know the truth, we got to teach it. But I'll land on that.
Man, I really appreciate
it. Can you go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 25 to back up what King just said?
Yeah.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 25.
I got you. I want to finish out these last 3 verses too that I got over here. But I'm going to go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 25. All right. Don't want to. All right, here we go. Here we go. And it reads, marry thy daughter, so that so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding.
Who is it talking to, Unc?
The men.
It's talking to the fathers of the daughters. Y'all are not supposed to be choosing your husbands. You're supposed to be, if those men want to deal with you, they're supposed to be bought before your father. And your father is the one that says yay or nay to that man. Can you read that one more time again, Unc?
Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. But give her to a man of understanding. What is that?
Where do we get our understanding from?
The law.
Exactly. The law. You're supposed to know exactly what we're talking about. You're supposed to know even down to the bed sheets and the virginity. The father, did y'all know that the father's job is to make sure that the daughter is taken from his household and she's been untouched by a man, the responsibility is on the daughter, of course, as well. But the responsibility falls on the father. It says that the father is supposed to be the one that wakes up late at night for his daughter to care for her. It says that the father is the one that is the one that is supposed to care for her body before the husband takes over and she becomes the body of her husband. These things that we're talking about is righteous. It's righteous. And if marriages would have started off from there, there would be a lot of men that wouldn't be baby daddies. There would be a lot of women that wouldn't be baby mamas. But if we being truthful about the matter of this, fathers, we ain't in place. And because we not in place, if we go to what the prophets wrote about the fathers, it said that we don't have to turn away from our fathers because they so wayward. We don't have to turn away from them to find Abba, because they not following him no more. So it's our faults. Do you understand that if you in that situation, baby mama drama and everything else like that, and you did that, okay, if you had a righteous father and he was telling you the truth, he was telling you how to avoid those things or whatever else like that, and you rebelled against your father, you got what you get. And that is what it is. You're going to have to walk that one out. But if you wasn't on point as a father and you wasn't doing the righteous things, you wasn't saying the righteous things, you wasn't living a righteous way, and all of that, it's on you. She's walking around, and that says that you dropped the ball. You fumble. Adam, where art thou? Where are you, Adam? He doesn't just say that for Eve. He says that for all women. That's his wife. That's his daughter. But let me say one more thing. If the two are one flesh, if the act of intimacy is not separated from marriage, and the two are one flesh, do you know that when that woman that you last touched, and she ain't never been touched by no other man other than you, but you not taking care of her, when she get into trouble, the Most High puts it on your account. Adam, where are you? Where you at? And this is why the responsibility falls. That's why if the woman appears at the door, and guess what? She's homeless, and she's got a child or no child, and you the last one, you responsible, King. It's you, Adam. You got to step up.
You know the law, yes.
You got to provide. You got to do facts on facts. You got to do this thing.
Hold on, family. Listen.
Sorry, Elder. Go ahead.
When we go back to Genesis or Bereshit, when Adam and Hawa, who the world calls Eve, was in the garden, was Adam responsible for his Isha, his wife, his Gune? Yes. But what happened? She was communicating with another person outside of her husband, and not to point fingers, but the first thing Adam said to Yahuwah, he says, Adam, where art thou? And he say, I hid myself because I was unclothed. And he said, who told thou that thou was unclothed? And we know the whole story. And basically the Most High said to Adam, or Adam said to the Most High, it was the woman whom thou gavest me. What I'm saying is, and what you're saying, we the people and Pastor Knowledge and Unc, we as men, yes, we are held accountable, but if the woman we perceive as our Isha or wife, if she's constantly being entertained by other men outside of us, what do we do in a situation like that?
Put the nail out the church.
Come on,
that's what the word conversation, the word for conversation back in the day is called intercourse. Intercourse is the word for conversation. They modernized it to separate it. But even if you Google it today, they still tell you the word intercourse means to have a conversation. Because as Brother Yariel teaches all the time, Brother Yariel, what you say that intercourse is, what are you doing?
You're entering the course. So when you're entering a course, you're entering a man's studies that you go to school, you're learning something from that man, you're entering into his course.
And that is
and that's the same way we're trying to get to the Most High's course right now. We're trying to enter in his conversation, what he said. We're entering into his course, but whenever you entertaining that conversation, you are entering a course, you're learning from that man, you're learning everything. That's saying that we're trying to do with the Most High. But that's what a woman does with that's how this all began.
But that's intimacy, actually, because in the book of Amos, he says that of all the families of the earth, only you have I known. That word to know right there means been intimate with. That means that he gave us himself, his word. So
it also means to teach.
Right.
To know your wife means to teach.
There you go.
Yada. The actual act. What is it? What is it? Yariel? Give me the
yada.
Hebrew.
That Hebrew word yada means to intimately know. The same way we're supposed to know the most. Oh man, I ain't even going into that deep. But yes.
No, you can, but you know what, Unc? You know what happens in most times, and yes, men, we must take responsibility. Me as a father and a grandfather, what happens in modern so-called marriages and relationships, the adult men must take accountability first. But what happens is, most often in modern marriages and situations, as a father and grandfather, the daughters of Zion will go out, be intimate with a man, won't even tell the father, and after everything is taking place, they come home and say, "Hey, Dad, grandfather, this is my man," and then now you're like, "Wait a minute, I didn't give approval." Well, hey, he's already been here, and come on, man, that's why the book of Numbers, chapter 30, no marriage was sanctioned outside of the will of the father, which is her dad. So I love all women, but when we're talking about biblical marriage, where are the heads of your family that can give an account for what you're testifying to? And I land on that with all love and respect to the daughters of Zion and the panel.
And if you don't have a father, you got a grandfather. And if you don't got a grandfather, find an uncle. And if you ain't got an uncle, find an older cousin. So you need to be covered by another man.
Even
like Brother Borte said, he said facts on facts.
I 100% agree. As a woman, I 100% agree.
Facts on facts, because we trying to protect y'all. Like Brother Borte said, we know the tigers in the jungle because we are the tigers. we are the tigers. I don't know if y'all heard Brother Borte when he said it, but he made an excellent point. But I cut you off so many times. I apologize. Forgive me. You got it.
No problem, man. I just want to finish out these last couple verses so I can go to bed. Is that okay?
Finish them verses, because your eyes is already drooping. I'm looking at you. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Hey, y'all, but it's been a great live tonight, y'all. It's been great. We were talking about the two dominions, which is the queendom, which is 304dom, and the kingdom, which is masculinity. And so that's what we were talking about tonight. And we spent a lot of time on the 304dom, but we're going to end up in the kingdom. Here we go. And it says, "For no man has ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, even as the Lord the church." So as a man, our job is to nourish and to cherish our wives as Adonai and the church. For we are many members of his body. So every woman is a member of his body. Even his flesh and bones. Hey, Tan. Even his flesh and bones. So here we go. For we are many members of his body. So every woman becomes a member of his body. This is it. For this cause, he's quoting to us now, Genesis chapter number 2. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, cleave, and father and mother shall join unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. This is the part I want to get to. For this is a great mystery. So the similarities here is the man it should look just like the kingdom. This is the great mystery. This is where the problem is. This is where the enemy wants to confuse us at, right here. Because this is the great mystery being revealed. I speak concerning Christ and the church. So the similarity is the church and the Most High, the husband and his wife should look alike. When we see a man and the wife and Most High and the church, they should look the same. The woman should submit just like the church is to the Most High. The man should love his wife just like the Most High loves us. This is how it should work. The man is the glory connected to God. The woman is connected to the man who's connected to God. Therefore, it is the kingdom of heaven coming on earth as it is in heaven. That is the prayer that fulfills the promise of what Yahushua prayed in John 17. Father, I pray that they be one as you and I are one, that they be one with us. And so when we're doing it the Most High's way, I promise you things will work right. The only reason we got it like this is because we have a sincere desire to not do it God's way. And we refuse to do it intentionally. And we're doing it, not doing it intentionally, because we don't see that God's way is good for us. And I'm going to say it like David said, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Try him and see. Just try him. Try it God's way and see if it will not work for you. That's our resolve. The step away from the kingdom of 304 or the dominion of 304 and step over into the kingdom of the Most High, where it is masculine led. Men, be a man. Take the charge. Follow the laws of the Most High. Keep the standards, the laws, and the commandments. Meditate on them day and night so that your house can be built and be prosperous. Women, build the house of the man. Stop tearing it down. Stop letting doctors tear the man's house down. What is a man's house? His children. So if you are on any type of birth control, any type, you, my friend, are tearing down a man's house. If you are doing anything to prevent children, you are an infidel because you don't even want a house. So I'm praying and I'm asking that we'll repent. Because the only reason you're here and all of us are on this live tonight together, the only reason is because we want to do it God's way. I sincerely believe that nobody in their right mind is going to sit here for 2.5 hours and not want to do it God's way. Because there ain't no music, ain't no singing, there's no entertainment here, and we're going hard on the men and the women. And if you stayed here through all of this, but if you want to do it God's way, let's do it God's way. Don't fight it. Don't fight it because you're here. And the Bible says that the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. The Bible says that once you hear it and you decide to look back, that you are not even worthy of no peace. You're not worthy of no joy, and you cannot be righteous. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says you're not worthy of the kingdom. The kingdom is peace, righteousness, and joy. So you don't even qualify for that if you hear this and turn back. So I encourage you, repent. Let's do it the Most High's way. Let's do it God's way. Let's do it the way that the Most High has already established that it is good for you. It is your wisdom. It is your knowledge. It is your understanding. It is your holiness. It is your perfection. Because what is he coming back for? Perfection. What is a man making a woman? Perfect. What does he do for the man? He sanctifies the man. What does the man do for the woman? He sanctifies her. And so when everything is working in that order, it is a well-oiled machine. You're going to have a car that will not break down. Let's do it God's way. Come on, Yariel, y'all got 1 minute. Pass. Anybody go over 1 minute, mute their mic, please, because I'm sleepy. 1 minute, we're going to come down for the final statement.
I got you.
We're going to start at the top with Yariel, and we'll end up with Brother We the People. Let's do it God's way. Come on, Brother Yariel.
Hey, look, I'm going to keep it short. Hey, look, shalom, everyone. Shalom. I pray everybody does continue to have a great night. Continue to learn and study to show yourself approved so that you can learn this word. And don't just listen to what men are telling you on this page, like any of us brothers up here, sisters. Listen and show and learn for yourself. May the Ruach continue to lead you to be able to learn and have understanding, because once you continue to decide to follow the Most High's law, He will truly bring it to you and bring you that peace that you've been looking and searching for. And that's all I got, but I pray everybody has a great night. Shalom, family.
Thank you again.
All right, what's up? I did want to say this real quick. I did like that he brought out earlier about the conversation meaning in the original context, intimacy, right? A woman between a man, right? Because I think one thing that we're going to have to eventually have a conversation on is bringing our women out of the workforce, right? Out of working for other men, right? Because their duty is to their husband, to the Most High, right? To that man in that home, to the children, not to another man building his last name, his family, the Walton family, right? The Walmarts, etc., right? So that will be probably a conversation we'll have in the future, but I do want to land on that because we got to get our women from under these masters, right? As it says, no man can have two masters, so I'm going to land on that.
To God be the glory. Thank you for that, King.
Y'all can skip over me. Go ahead, Nourish Well.
Continue, family. Much love. Truth over traditions, family. Always continue. Let truth remain, and we must put away emotions and traditions of men and follow the pure word of Yahuwah Elohim always. Much love and respect, family. Shalom.
Hey, hold on, Borte. I'm gonna let Deshelle go, and then I'm gonna let you go after him.
I just, I got in a little late, but I heard so many exciting things that was being said, and I just really wanted to pose this right here. Everything that was said, it seemed to be very inspiring. The question that I have is, how do we get moving in that direction as a family? That's the only thing I wanted to throw out there. How do we get moving in the direction of correcting the wrongs?
Hey, my friend, I'm gonna say this and then we can keep going. We're at a place now where we're making the correction. The car has been fishtailing for a minute, but we're taking our foot off the gas. So that peace could come back, so that men could take the wheel again. There's been too many hands on the steering wheel. The car ain't been driving right. And so what we're doing now is we're fixing that piece. And you wasn't here earlier, but I don't think I said it though. But I'm gonna say it to you since you asked that question. What we're doing, man, is we're leading into that direction on how to build. My next book is gonna be on the rebuilding of this nation. I already got my notes together, and we're going to do it as a nation, not as a religion. That's the hard part, is to get us away from religion. And I'm having some discussions with some people, and we're trying to come up with ways to get away from the religious aspect of it, because they use what belonged to us to create a religion. And so now we're trying to take it back, but everybody want to hold on to religion. But I pray that we're going to get it and we're going to get it right. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to keep teaching. We're going to keep showing what we've erred at so we can make the right corrections. If you anybody ever drove a race car or anybody ever took professional driving course, I'm not talking about the high school driving thing. I'm talking about where you know how to pull the handbrake up, make the car spin around, and where to put the brakes, saying how to apply the brakes, in a fishtail, all of these different things. Anybody ever did that other than me on here? Okay, so if you've taken a professional driving course like police officers take, then you will understand that there are certain ways that you got to do things to make that car correct. Because if you don't do it the right way, you can overcorrect and have even a worse problem. So we have to move in the way so that we don't overcorrect, but we correct ourselves so that we're right in line with the Most High, and men first, because it's our fault. We done it. We gave it over to the queendom. We did this. Come on, who's next? Is it Norris Well or Brother Borte?
Borte.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Guys, let's do it God's way. But His way is the only way. Like I came in earlier on, I was saying, closing legs and all this I'm talking about, is about we do it God's way, so we know His way. But our sisters and our brothers that don't know His way, and they have the single parents and other people in the house that don't teach them, and they are listening. That's what I'm sending the message to. That you don't know the way. Now you are listening the way, so close it. Because Unc said, if you, as the man said, Unc said what? If you touch it, you keep it. So if you don't want to keep it, don't touch it. In the same time, I'm going to our sisters. If you know you are not ready, don't open it. So that word I was using is for us doing it God's way, we know. But the people out there that don't know, like one of our brothers is saying, all we are saying is exciting, but how can we do it? And that's what we are trying. We'll teach the way, and then we'll give the way how to solve the issue. So how can we help? We the targets, we the men that cause those things, let's take accountability and be the man and drive the car properly in the house. If you cannot lead the house, your house will collapse. You can't have two captains in the house. Make sure you are the man in the house and take care of the house, and make sure you direct your law and put your law right. Marriage, we talk about marriage several times. How this lady at the pond, we told her he has 5 wives. So understand the system we are in. If we are doing it God's way, we know what marriage will be for us. Simple. But now we are learning about what the Western world have given us about marriage. And that's why I put on the comment there. And I think Pastor Knowledge saw it. Common law marriage. You guys, 2 of you, go for the common law and have what? Your own understanding and move forward. Than letting the government come in. But that is not God's way. You know, so but it's just something about the system, how to work with. So it's a lot we are learning. So guys, let's do it God's way.
Brother Borte, you tinkering, buddy.
Right, yeah, it's on you.
Shalom, I just want to say this is my first time being here. My thing that I really want to point out is I want to commend you brothers on the patience, on the decorum. Because I'm on a lot of panels a lot of times, and they get the name calling, and they get impatient, and we get so puffed up with pride of the knowledge that we don't have the patience and the soft tongue that we're supposed to speak these words and try to walk our brothers and sisters down into Christ. So I just want to say that this is a very high-spirited place, and I just am happy to be here. And I thank you for bringing me up.
To God be the glory. We thank you for coming too tonight, young lady.
Shalom.
We the people.
I'm sorry for starting so much trouble tonight. I apologize for the hypothetical wife. I apologize for the hypothetical scenarios and the children that come to the hypothetical houses that doesn't exist, and all the little trouble that I done started with these little scenarios and stuff like that. But I do want to say I do admire the work that you putting forward. I admire how you're sharing the platform with a lot of other people. A lot of people that would get the attention that you would get, they would only want to be the only voice in the room. But you allow so many other people to come up and speak and share. And you try to be fair. You try to be fair, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Shalom, y'all.
To God be the Most High. Come on, Pass.
Oh, it's me for the last. I really appreciate the platform, like always, Unc. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say what I have to say, which is, hey, y'all make sure y'all always tapping the screen, sharing the live. I know y'all really don't understand why I stress that so much, but that keeps Unc on the algorithm, and it's also you clapping for what Unc is doing and clapping for yourselves. When you're tapping, you're clapping. So that's
and
what
for Christ. So like you.
That's what we want to keep on doing. We always tapping and clapping for Christ. We move for Christ. We move for the Most High. We move for Yahuwah. That's a given all the way through. But again, we just want to make sure that we're doing that because this platform is to please the Most High. So that's why I ask all y'all to always clap and tap and repost and share the live. Shalom.
Yep, that's what we're about. Praise is the endorsement of the law, and it ends up in a shabak, which is a clap, a holler, raise your hands. It is because I love the law of God, because I endorse it. That's what this live is about. It's about Israel returning to the law in great love and excitement. Let's make some noise. Type in the comments, I am Israel, I am Israel, I am Israel, and
We're bringing the family back.
Say that again?
We're bringing the family back.
We're bringing the
Getting the family back together.
There we go. Say that again. We're bringing who back?
The family back together.
To God be the glory.
Most High's family.
Let's do it God's way, family.
Hallelujah.
Let's do it. And I thank y'all for all the likes and follows and the shares. We will be back. Hey, Shay, we will be back on, what day is that? Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, y'all. Don't forget that Pastor Donis will be coming on Saturdays at 3:30 Central Standard Time. 3:30 Central Standard Times on Saturdays. Let's go over, show them some love. I think Brother Yariel comes on Friday night. At what time, Brother Yariel?
I've been doing like pop-ups. So it's pretty much like right around 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, so y'all heard Brother Yariel. Let's look at Brother Noah's videos. If you like what you heard Noah's saying tonight, man, put out some amazing videos. Go like, follow, and share his videos. Who else on here? Brother Forte, he advertises his business. So if you're in the Houston area, right, Brother Forte? You might be gone.
Yes, on.
Yeah, he's in the Houston area. He advertises his business out in the Houston area. I think he does a lot of good things to your houses and your homes. And let's do it God's way. Go ahead and reach out to him. We thank God for everybody in kind. You are not reprimanded from this line. You are always welcome here. We don't hold no grudges like that. We thank God for everybody tonight. Let's do it God's way, y'all. Let's do it God's way. Let's do it God's way. Put in the comments, I am Israel, then sign off. I need to see 26, I am Israel in the comments.
That's how you do it.
But yeah, ain't nobody just don't like the foolishness. Don't come in trying to sow discord or bring confusion into what we're doing. That's why some people will say that they're not welcome over here. Everybody is welcome. Just don't tolerate the foolishness. And if you're gonna be like a child, and that's anybody, anyone. If you're gonna be like a child